The Winter Soldier, America's surveillance state with a marble skin. Backstory: 9/11, the deadliest attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor. Everyone knows what happened that day, but everyone doesn't know about the violations of the Constitution that happened afterwards. 3 days after the attacks, Congress passed the Authorization for Use of Military Force, or AUMF for short. The legal name is Joint Resolution to Authorize the Use of United States Armed Forces against those responsible for the recent attacks launched against the United States. This resolution basically gave Congress's war powers to the president. The AUMF has been used 37 times to justify military force in 14 countries. The AUMF was used to justify the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The war in Afghanistan started on October 7th, 2001. The war didn't end until August 30th, 2021. The war in Iraq started on March 20th, 2003, after intelligence agencies falsely accused the country of having weapons of mass destruction, or WMDs.
Simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction.
The weapon for Iraqi oil ended on December 15, 2011.
The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa.
On December 13, 2003, Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein was captured, then later executed on December 30, 2006. On March 1st and 2nd, 2011, SEAL Team 6 went on Operation Neptune Spear. The operation was a success. Osama bin Laden, the man behind 9/11, was killed. 6 weeks after the attacks, President George W. Bush signed the Patriot Act into law on October 26, 2001, officially known as Uniting and Strengthening America by Providing Appropriate Tools Required to Intercept and Obstruct Terrorism. Thankfully, a congressional intern shortened it to USA Patriot Act. The only problem is the Patriot Act is very unpatriotic, giving the government power to spy on citizens in the name of stopping terrorism. Probably wondering what this has to do with Captain America. Well, I'll explain that now. The plot of Winter Soldier is America's surveillance state with a Marvel skin. The plot of Winter Soldier is burned in the back of every Marvel fan's mind, but for everyone that doesn't, here's a basic rundown. After the events of 2012's Avengers, Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, is still trying to catch up with everything that's happened from 1945 to 2011, when he was in the ice. Cap is living in Washington, D.C., working for S.H.I.E.L.D. under director Nick Fury, alongside fellow Avenger Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff. Steve meets Sam Wilson before going on a mission with Romanoff to rescue S.H.I.E.L.D. agents from pirates. The mission is a success, but Steve confronts Fury for giving Widow a side mission. He tells Rogers about Project Insight.
This is Project Insight. 3 next-generation helicarriers synced to a network of targeting satellites. These new long-range precision guns can eliminate 1,000 hostiles a minute.
Steve calls this out.
Thought the punishment usually came after the crime.
The Winter Soldier attempts to assassinate Fury, but he escapes and lays low at Steve's apartment. The Winter Soldier returns and finishes the job. Before passing out, Fury reveals S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised.
Don't trust anyone.
He then gives Cap the intel Romanoff gathered at the start of the movie. Cap gives chase, but the assassin escapes. Fury is taken to the hospital where he dies. Steve is then called back to base. He hides the intel before going to meet with Alexander Pierce, the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D., to debrief about Fury's assassination. Pierce confronts Rogers about Fury's visiting him.
Captain, you were the last one to see Nick alive. I don't think that's an accident. And I don't think you do either. So I'm going to ask again. Why was he there?
Pierce sees through Cap's lie and sends agents after him. The agents and Cap fight in an elevator before he escapes on a motorcycle and takes down a jet. Cap is labeled a fugitive. He returns to the hospital to retrieve the intel, only to learn Romanoff got to it first. They argue before teaming up to find out who killed Fury. Ralph confronts Rogers.
Fury gave it to you. Why?
What's on it?
I don't know.
Stop lying.
I only act like I know everything, Rogers.
They go to the mall and learn the data came from a base in New Jersey, the same base Cap got basic training at during World War II. The agents arrive and almost capture the duo, who save themselves by making out. A plot point that will definitely be carried on in future MCU films. Oh, right. Anyways, they steal a truck and drive to the base. They locate a bunker thanks to Cap's knowledge of military regulations about ammo storage and distance from barracks.
What is it?
Army regulations forbid storing munitions within 500 yards of the barracks. This building's in the wrong place.
Inside the bunker is the computer-preserved mind of Hydra scientist Arnon Zola. Zola reveals that Hydras regrew in the S.H.I.E.L.D. after the war, and that he made an algorithm to locate enemies of Hydra for knocking off. The base is then destroyed in an airstrike ordered by Pierce, who runs Hydra. They survive and escape back to D.C., where they allow Sam Wilson. Wilson agrees to help them stop Hydra with his Falcon suit as soon as he steals it back from the military.
Where can we get our hands on one of these things?
The last one is at Fort Meade, behind 3 guarded gates and a 12-inch steel wall.
They kidnap Hydra agent Sitwell after he leaves to lunch with a Hydra senator.
Hell, Hydra.
Sitwell reveals that Hydra is planning to use the new helicarriers to knock off their enemies.
Zola's algorithm evaluates people's past to predict their future.
What then?
Then the inside helicarrier scratched people off the list. A few million at a time.
The Winter Soldier attacks, unveiling himself as Cap's old pal Bucky, presumed dead in a train accident during the war. The three heroes are captured by Hydra before being rescued by Fury's right-hand woman, Maria Hill. It turns out Fury is alive and mostly well. They plan how to stop the Hydra carriers launching. Fury wants to salvage the carriers. Steve refuses, saying that they must destroy them. Fury agrees and they go to destroy the carriers. They fight the Winter Soldier again, who escapes after saving Cap. Black Widow and Nick Fury tag team, Pierce killing him. The carriers crash into the Triskelion, and Hydra is partially destroyed.
We've been data mining Hydra's files. Looks like a lot of rats didn't go down with the ship.
Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. go to war, something that will be covered in a TV show the movies ignore 99% of the time. Black Widow goes to Russia to investigate her past. That will be totally ignored until 2021. Steve and Sam go after the Winter Soldier, which will get resolved in Civil War a few years later. So long story short, S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra, Robert Redford is evil. The MCU can't keep their relationships constant, and technology is dangerous. Overview of the surveillance state. In 2001, only Senator Rush Feingold voted against the Patriot Act in the Senate. He said, "Fighting terrorism would be easy if America was a police state, but then it wouldn't be America anymore. We need to preserve liberty while heightening security."
They stuffed in the bill old wish list of the FBI, things that never would have passed in pre-9/11.
Today, America is a surveillance state. The definition of surveillance state is the state collects information on everyone without regard for innocence or guilt and pretends it is not surveillance. A surveillance state secretly redefines laws in the language of the law. A surveillance state monitors threats to the state's interests. They operate under a
"You have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide."
In 2013, Edward Snowden came out as an NSA whistleblower. He leaked documents revealing the USA and its allies had a global surveillance apparatus. He said, "I'm willing to sacrifice everything because I can't, in good conscience, allow the U.S. government to destroy privacy, internet freedom, and basic liberties for people around the world with this massive surveillance machine they secretly built." Snowden is currently living in Russia under political asylum. He and his wife became Russian citizens in 2020. Snowden is unable to return to the United States under threat of imprisonment and or death. Julian Assange is the founder of WikiLeaks, an organization known for leaking government secrets. In the early 2010s, WikiLeaks revealed the military was working with intelligence spy. In 2012, Assange gained political asylum at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. He would remain inside until 2019 when the embassy handed him over to the Brits. Assange is currently in a UK prison as the US government attempts to extradite him to the US. Many fear Assange could wind up dead, like others who had dirt in the U.S. government, John McAfee and Jeffrey Epstein. The Patriot Act violates the First Amendment right to free speech and the Fourth Amendment right that protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Patriot Act allows unrestricted mass surveillance in the name of security. Rights be darned. How they connect. So what does a superhero movie about Captain America teaming up with Scarlett Johansson and Sam Jackson to fight Robert Redford have to do with the U.S. government spying on people? We have to ignore the superheroes and cool explosions and just look at the bare bones of the film's end. In the third act, Black Widow leaks all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s files on the internet, pulling a Snowden in the process. Congress calls Black Widow to testify about their actions at the Triskelion, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s headquarters. She tells them off for allowing enemies to compromise their intelligence agency.
Hydra was selling you lies, not intelligence.
The point being, S.H.I.E.L.D., like the U.S. government, was spying on citizens in the name of security. It's unlikely the government will turn attack drones on citizens anytime soon, but the capability exists, and that's a scary thought. Thomas Jefferson once said,
"Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety."
Protecting America is a noble goal, but not an excuse to violate basic rights. Hydra's AI said,
"What we did not realize was that if you try to take that freedom, they resist. The war taught us much. Humanity needed to surrender its freedom willingly.
America willingly gave up our freedom in exchange for temporary security, for which we pay dearly." As Captain America said,
"This isn't freedom. This is fear."
We must do everything in our power to stop living in fear and restore freedom. I know I'm asking a lot, but
The price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not.